Hello, Bucks. This is Mr. Whalen, your principal, and I'm going to share a little bit of information with you for the beginning of the semester. Just things that you should know, things that you should be aware of. And just before we get into it, know all this stuff is in the Xenia High School handbook on our website. Welcome back from break, and to those who are new and just joining us, welcome to Xenia High School. At the beginning of each semester, we go ahead and just review some things that it's important for you to know as we get into the semester. I'm going to try to be brief yet informative and get you all the information that you need to know going into this semester. So to begin, as many of you do know, I just want to take a chance to review our Alpha administrators and Alpha counselors. For those who are letters A through G, your Alpha administrator is Miss Patrick, assistant principal, and those who are A through G, for our guidance counselor, you have Mr. Rudiger. For those who are H through M, Mr. Mino is your assistant principal. Those who are H through M, your guidance counselor is Miss Biggs. And finally, for those N through Z, Mr. Bartley is your assistant principal, and Miss Tolbert is your guidance counselor. A lot of you guys already know that, but again, some of us are new here, so hopefully you'll get acclimated with those individuals as the semester continues. Also want to bring up some important safety issues. Our school resource officer is Officer Majoris, and our school security officer is Miss Lovingsheimer. Mr. Majoris' office is across from the cafeteria, and Miss Lovingsheimer's office is as you come into the main entrance. Also wanted to note we are lucky to have a student engagement specialist, and that is Miss Neff. And Miss Neff's room is in B238. So if you ever need additional support, please don't shy away from seeing Miss Neff. Wanted to start very quickly with our core values here at XHS. We want you to explore your potential, excel in your pursuits, and exceed expectations. I'm going to go a little bit further into those three things, but I also want to share our mission and vision. Our vision at Xenia High School, again, explore your potential, excel in your pursuits, and exceed expectations. And our mission is to graduate 100% of our students. A lot of that starts with you. We will do everything we can to support you, but in order to get to that number of 100%, we need you to do your part. We need you to advocate for yourself in order to be successful. So getting into our core values a little bit more specifically, we'll start with exploring your potential. What does that mean? What are the actions behind that? We want you to be an active participant. We want you to be attentive and open-minded. We want you to advocate for yourself, seek help from others, and most importantly, we want you to identify your strengths and weaknesses. We want you to find what you want to do here at XHS, not just in the meantime, but for the rest of your life, and hopefully build upon that while you are here. The results of exploring your potential: be self-aware, be a lifelong learner, build relationships, and then make responsible decisions as well. Moving on, in core values, excel in your pursuits. What are the actions behind that? We want you to develop your skills, be consistent and dependable, respect yourself and others. We want you to set priorities, meet deadlines, and we want you to be timely. The results that will come from that, hopefully it'll put you in a place where you will create routines, maximize time, and then most importantly, establish trust and respect with others, not only your peers, but also staff as well. And finally, for our core values, exceed expectations. The actions behind that: take initiative, lead by example, set short and long-term goals, overcome obstacles, and then mentor and support others. And the results that'll come from that: hopefully independence, hopefully resilience, self-motivation, and self-confidence. Wanted to get in and share some general information about us. Again, for those that are new and those that are returning, if you didn't know, our school hours are 7:35 to 2:28. We do have 7 periods throughout the day, typically 51 to 52 minutes per class. Our doors open at 6:55, and when we get here between 6:55 and 7:15, all students are expected to report to the cafeteria. If you do need to go elsewhere, please get a note from your teacher the day prior and be able to share that when you go upstairs or go to the classroom that's outside of the cafeteria. We have advisory on Wednesdays after second period. During advisory, we include things like I Lead, team building activities, youth science for our freshman students. Some of you may have already completed those, but those that are new who are freshmen, will work with you to get that done, and those who are new to the school will work with you to get youth science done at that time as well. We have wellness checks periodically throughout the year. Those will take place during advisory. Possibly some things related to our clubs. Student advisory committee meets at that time. We do have Jostin meetings, which relates to things like graduation and resources that you need for graduation for seniors, as well as classroom orders for the underclassmen. A lot of that takes place first semester. But sometimes there are opportunities to have information on that during second semester as well. Class meetings, if we need to meet as a class in the auditorium, we'll do those during advisory. We are trying to shift where we do a lot of these things virtually, if at all possible. But if we do need a class meeting in person, that'll take place during advisory most likely as well. Lunch expectations. We do have 2 lunches. There is a gap in between those lunches. We have A and B lunch. As far as expectation goes, when you move down to the cafeteria, you are more than welcome to set your stuff down and get in line. If you're buying lunch, if you are packing lunch, just find a seat and you can begin eating. We do ask that you stay in the cafeteria. If you need to leave the cafeteria for any reason, please see staff so that we can give you permission to do so. One big thing that we want to reiterate is to please clean up your area. We do have cameras. We do check if there are areas that are not clean. We do call students back down to clean those areas and or give detentions if we notice that it's something that happens consistently. So please help us out by cleaning up your area when you get up to leave for lunch. Some general information that I want to share. We do have a student handbook. Within that handbook, it contains our bell schedules, our lunch procedures, clubs and activities we offer, athletics we offer. It does have discipline in there as well, just in terms of what our expectations are and what the consequences might be if you don't meet those expectations. It is located on the XHS website. We'll also send a lot of information through Google Classroom. And also in that handbook, you can find your Google Classroom information and the code that goes along with that. We do have Roll and Scroll in the cafeteria as well. So if you're not sure of what your code is, check out Roll and Scroll. It has each grade's grade level code so that you can access Google Classroom. Yonder, we do participate in Yonder. Everybody should have a pouch. If you do not have a Yonder pouch, please see Miss Patrick, and she will make sure that that we get things in order to get you one. One thing that has changed is we will do Yonder checks 3 times per quarter. The first check is during the first week of the quarter. Then we will have another check after the interim time, and then we'll have a third check the last week of the quarter. Within those checks, the expectation is just that you have your Yonder pouch with you. We realize maybe not everybody has a phone, but the expectation is that when those checks occur that you have your Yonder pouch with you. If you do have a phone, please lock those up in the Yonder pouch so that when your teacher goes around, they can mark you as having that complete. Parking passes. If you are a new driver to XHS, please see Mr. Mino. He will get you a parking pass. There is an online application to be completed, so please complete that. And that's also on the XHS website, and then Mr. Mino will go ahead and get you assigned a parking space. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Mr. Mino with those questions as well. As far as discipline goes, we are in a progressive discipline model. Hopefully, we don't have to give anybody discipline. It's not a fun part of the job, but if that does happen, please know that all that information can be found in the handbook. What I mean by progressive discipline model is, obviously, if it's a minor infraction, we're going to start at a low level, which may be an administrative conference or detention, but if the behavior continues, obviously that'll escalate up to Friday school, ISI, hopefully not, but OSS if we need to do that as well. So again, not a fun part of the administrative job, but it is something we have to do to maintain a safe environment. So please keep that in mind, and if you ever have any questions about discipline or the expectations, all that can be found in the handbook as well. One thing I do want to hit on is social media use and student communication. I do ask that you keep in mind that what you are posting to social media or even texting to friends, that can very quickly become available to everybody. So when you do that, I want you to use the acronym THINK. Before you post anything or share anything, is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind? And if you can say yes to all of those, by all means, please post away, please text away, and send that to whoever you need to send it to. If you can't answer yes to all of those things, that acronym THINK, please think twice before sending that out to the public. Can't tell you how many times we've had individuals who have sent a text message to a trusted friend or a private message to a trusted friend, and it just takes one screenshot and that can be sent everywhere. So the rule of thumb here is to just please remember that when posting to social media or sending a text, once it's out there, you can't get it back. So please just remember that. Even if it is a trusted friend, just be careful what you send to them. Don't share anything with somebody that you wouldn't want the whole high school to see. And I'm not trying to be an alarmist, but again, I go back to different experiences that the admin team has had where somebody didn't intend for everybody to see something, and unfortunately it got out there and everybody did see something. So again, just rule of thumb there, just make sure that you're not putting something out there to one person that you wouldn't want everybody to see. In terms of safety here at the high school, I feel like we are a very safe high school. We'll do safety scripts. We'll have monthly drills related to fire drills and also tornado drills. And we will also do lockdown and barricade drills just to maintain safety. We typically have one of those every month in some way, shape, or form. We do have visitor and checkout procedures. So if you ever have a parent or a guardian or a caregiver who's coming to the school, please just remind them that they will need their ID in order to not only get access to the school if it's necessary, but also to check students out. Restroom policy. One thing that we started is that we will only have 6 students who are permitted in the restroom at a time. That is for safety, and that's because there's no more than 6 stalls in those restrooms. Those waiting should wait in the hallway or the corridor. Violators are subject to reasonable suspicion for search. Not something, again, that we want to go out of our way to do, but if, when we do our periodic checks in the restrooms, if we're seeing stuff that looks suspicious, that does present itself with reasonable suspicion. That does allow administration to go ahead and search to make sure that campus is safe and to make sure that certain situations are safe as well. So again, no more than 6 in the restrooms, please. Moving on to dances and field trips. Dances, specifically homecoming and prom, just need to make students aware that from a behavioral standpoint, you cannot have any out-of-school suspension, and there should be no more than 1 vaping infraction in order to be eligible for those. In terms of attendance, you must be in good standing per the Ohio Department of Education guidelines to include habitual truancy, which is 72 hours or less. It's actually 36 hours per semester or less in terms of absences. Additional information related to dances can be found in the handbook. For field trips, there are 3 requirements for field trips. The first is an academic requirement. Students must maintain athletic eligibility to be able to attend a field trip. So that just meets the OHSAA guidelines for academic eligibility. In terms of behavior, for attending field trips, much like dances, no OSS, no more than one vaping infraction in order to be eligible to attend field trips. And finally, again, same as the eligibility for dances, for attendance, you must be in good standing per Ohio Department of Education guidelines. Again, going back to that 72-hour rule, and 36 hours per semester. We also had some changes recently to Renaissance and want to make sure that everybody is aware of that. Renaissance, we are now going by tiers. We have the gold tier, the blue tier, and the white tier. For academic achievement, gold tier includes all A's. The blue tier includes A's and B's, and the white tier includes A's, B's, and C's. For attendance and tardies, the gold tier is 1 or fewer unexcused quarterly absence, 1 or fewer tardies. The blue tier, 2 or fewer unexcused quarterly absences, 2 or fewer tardies. And then the white tier for attendance, 3 or fewer unexcused quarterly absences, and 3 or fewer tardies. And then finally, when it comes down to discipline, for the gold tier, there are no quarterly referrals. Blue tier, 1 or fewer quarterly referrals, resulting in a minor consequence, not to include ISI or OSS. And then the white tier, 2 or fewer quarterly referrals, resulting in minor consequences, not to include ISI or OSS either. In terms of those tiers, gold, blue, and white, whatever your lowest one in those 3 categories is, that would be the tier that you would qualify in. If you don't qualify for one of those tiers, unfortunately, you would not qualify for Renaissance. So keep that in mind. Again, the handbook has all this information in it. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to refer to that. In terms of our rewards, incentives, and privileges, we do have monthly lunch drawings. Again, as you go from gold tier down to white tier, those are better at the gold tier and are still good at the white tier, but not quite as good as the gold tier. Admission to quarterly Renaissance rewards. We do have a Renaissance reward each quarter. Community recognition, that's typically in the form of going out in the newsletter. We do recognize each tier of our Renaissance groups. Dance, theater, and parking rewards. So we do have tickets that are available through raffles, those raffles at lunch that we had mentioned. Free admission to athletic events. Typically, Mr. Kopp will pick a date or 2 each quarter to allow free admission to athletic events that don't already have free admission. And then there is also the quarterly homework excusal pass. Those who have gold tier will be eligible for 3 homework excusal passes per quarter, blue tier for 2, and white tier for 1. Next, I will introduce Mr. Bartley, who will provide some information about attendance, followed by Ms. Patrick, who will provide some information about our dress code, and then finally Mr. Mino, who is going to provide some information about PBIS, our Positive Behavior Support Program. So thank you all, and on to them.
Welcome back, Bucks. Mr. Bartley here, Assistant Principal in charge of attendance. If you're going to be absent, you need to turn in a note through Parent Square or have your parent call in or send an email. You're expected to be in school on time every day. You're allowed to miss 65 hours in a school year excused. If you have unexcused hours, you will have to have a truancy meeting if you miss 32 hours consecutively, 42 hours in a month, or 72 unexcused hours for the year. Your attendance will affect the ability to attend dances, go on field trips at school, and other activities. All of this information can be found in the student handbook, and if you have any other questions, feel free to stop by the main office and see me. And as always, go Bucks.
Hi everyone, I am Mrs. Patrick, one of the assistant principals here at Xenia High School, and today I'm going to talk to you about the dress code. Students are required to wear appropriate, comfortable, and safe clothing that is neat and clean. Students must not wear revealing or sexually explicit clothing, clothing or logos which suggest or promote violence, weapons, drugs, profanity, sex, alcohol, tobacco, gang affiliation activities, or hate groups. Hats, hoods, sunglasses, masks, or makeups to hide face. Extreme styles of suggestive jewelry or items that may be used as weapons may not be worn. Sagging pants, shorts, skirts, skirts above mid-thigh, clothing that is ripped, torn, or has holes above the mid-thigh are also prohibited. Shirts that are midriff or low cut and expose cleavage are also to not be worn. Sleepwear is also prohibited. All hats, coats, gloves, purses, and book bags, backpacks, lunch bags should be stored in your locker at all times. If there is any doubt about the dress code violations, the building administrators will make the final decision. Failure to comply with this policy will result in consequences such as phone calls home from your administrator, lunch detention, Friday schools, ISI, and possible suspension. If you ever have any questions about dress code, please make sure to stop in the office before starting your day. Thanks again, and go Bucks.
Hello, Xenia High School. Mr. Mino here. Today I'm going to speak to you about our PBIS and our PBIS expectations. As you guys know, there are oftentimes a lot of things that we expect you to do, but I want to make sure that you understand we also want to acknowledge you and reward you when you are doing the things that we want you to do. As Mr. Whalen spoke about earlier, we have the Renaissance program up and going, have a lot of people qualifying, which is fantastic. We always want to do things to help you out. You know, Student of the Month, Kid of Character, times we can set our exam schedules up to allow exemptions and things. We want to, reward you and recognize you when you're doing the right thing. So a few reminders just about PBIS and our expectations. First and foremost, we ask you to be respectful. I've always believed that the golden rule is a genuine rule that we all need to live by. How are you treating others? I'm assuming you're treating others the way that you want to be treated. I'd say maybe the golden rule plus for us is you want to treat others even better than you would expect to be treated yourself. How do you treat other students, whether you know them, whether you don't know them? How do you treat staff? How do you treat everybody in this building? Those are things that you need to be taking ownership of and focusing on each and every day. I always kind of think about this too. When you leave high school, how do you want to be remembered? Maybe you did well in school, maybe you didn't. Maybe you're an athlete, a musician, maybe you weren't. But how you treat others is something that can really leave a legacy on your behalf. So take ownership of that and be respectful. The second thing that we're going to ask you to do is be responsible. Not just responsible when you come to school for your behavior and your academics, but just general ownership of yourself. As you know, you're growing up and it seems like you want to push for freedom, understandably so, but with freedom comes the duty and the responsibility. And that means that you have to take ownership and you have to take care of your expectations. Don't go to your teacher and say, what am I missing? You know what classes and work that you're missing. When you misbehave, take ownership of that. It means a lot when a student comes to our office and says, or to a teacher and says, hey, look, I messed up there. I know there's a consequence for that. I'm going to own that and fix it. That's part of growing up. We don't expect you to be perfect, but we do expect you to own up and take responsibility. And then the third thing that we're going to ask you to remember to always be is to be resilient. One of the things that you don't always get to control in life, the obstacles. Sometimes things are put in front of you that are out of your control. Sometimes they're under your control, but nonetheless, you're going to face obstacles. Nothing will lead you further in life is developing grit and that ability to say, you know what? Here's what's in front of me. How am I going to overcome that? How am I going to get around it? How am I going to over it? In essence, how am I going to be successful? So, at the end of the day, ultimately, it's up to you. No matter what's been put in your lap, no matter what hand you've been dealt, being resilient is figuring out how do I get through this, over this, around this to get to that goal. So those are the three things we're going to ask you to be this year. Be respectful, be responsible, be resilient. We want to reward you. We want to acknowledge the great things that you're doing. So Buccaneers, make sure that you're doing those things this year. And that's all we have for today. As a reminder, all of this information can be found in the student handbook. Have a great day.